Hello and welcome back to my channel, Mounjaro. Now, I've been on Mounjaro now for nearly 6 months and I have lost 71 pounds. And I will put that in kilograms and stones just there. So we all know what I'm talking about. Now, one of the biggest questions I get asked all the time, gets mentioned in my comments a lot, is what about the side effects? Now, there's an awful lot of information about these side effects and they're generally horror stories or really super clinical. I wanted to give you the real, actual, 100% honest truth of the side effects that have affected me on my 6-month journey on Mounjaro. There's no glossing over anything. 100% the side effects and the effects that I've been through on my 6-month journey on Mounjaro. So there'll be no drama, just the truth. Now, what's worth remembering is everybody's going to react different to this medication. And I'm not saying that you're going to have exactly the same experience as I had, but I can tell you exactly what's been happening to me, what's been mild, what's been extreme, what's been barely noticeable, and what to look out for if you're taking this medication or, about to start on this medication weight loss journey. Now, the idea of this video really is to, one, to be honest, to alleviate any fears that anyone may have, and 3, share my experiences. And through sharing my experiences, hopefully you can learn from it as well. So for me personally, the side effects have been mild and they've been manageable. There's nothing scary. At no point have I ever thought I might need to stop taking this medication. But there have been a few adjustments that I've needed to make in the early days. And as I've gone up the doses, I'm now on 5 milligram. Did 2.5 milligram for a month, and then I did 3.75 for about 4 months, and recently went up to 5. And I've noticed since I went up to 5 milligrams, there have been a few of these minor side effects that you may want to consider if you're starting this journey. It's also worth remembering that if you're going to embark on this journey, you're going to have to make adjustments. You need to change your habits. You need to feel calmer around food. And the side effects have also been part of that journey. It's also valuable to know I'm not a medical professional. I'm not a lifestyle coach. I'm not a health practitioner. I'm not any of those things. I'm a 53-year-old bloke who's been living this journey for the last 6 months. And I feel I'm able to share some of my experiences so that you can learn from them or relate to them. And if you do manage to relate to them, just leave a comment down below. And if you've got any advice, if you're also on the same journey, it'd be really useful to know. Because at the end of the day, I'm just a man trying to get healthier. Simple as that. Any advice I give, like I say, it's not medical advice. It's purely me giving you, sharing my experiences. Right, I'm going to start with this. I'm not sure it's a side effect or an effect. Bit of a grey area for me. But it's the appetite change and the food noise. So there are going to be days when you're going to have to remind yourself to eat. You're going to make sure you track the calories so that you do eat. And that's going to take some getting used to as well. I've gone down the road of making sure I eat all my calories. And I know from the comments, there's a few of you that really struggle to get the calories in. So it's just one of the things I've always done, but that's allowed me to, 1, lose weight, and 2, keep on the journey with minimal side effects. But it's certainly something you need to think about when you start this journey, because it can hit you hard and you really don't want to be going too low on your calories because you can make yourself ill. Right, so we talk about digestive side effects now. And one of the major ones for me has been constipation. I've mentioned it in a few of my videos and you've all been really helpful, giving me remedies and helping me out on the best way to sort that problem out. I take psyllium husk now and I take that regularly, take it every day if I can, if I remember, that is. But making sure you get enough fiber and making sure you drink enough water can really help with that one. So it can be uncomfortable at times and it can last for a couple of days at times as well. So just be aware of your fiber intake, and if you need to take a remedy, make sure you take it, because it can lead to other issues. And I know about those other issues because occasionally over the last 5-6 months, I have had an issue with piles. And it's fair to say that is an issue that comes and goes. So I'm not overly concerned, but it is part and parcel of this journey and you need to be aware of that. Also noticed on a few comments and a few people's videos that the other side effect, apart from constipation, can be diarrhea. So once again, you need to be mindful of that, making sure you take on enough fluids. And there are medications you can take to control that. But one of the foods I always take when I have issues down below is eggs. And I've always found them to, how should we say it, bind everything together. Eggs and bananas is sort of my top tip if you're suffering from diarrhea, and obviously making sure you get enough fluids in as well is really, really important. Now, one of the side effects I've only recently sort of started to get, and it's been ever since I went up to 5 milligrams, is a little bit of nausea. And it normally happens the day of the injection and the day after. So because it only lasts 2 days, I sort of treat it as a given that I'm going to have to go through it. And I'm like a real big strong boy and just carry on regardless. I know people who get really bad nausea where they're literally bedridden. So luckily, in touch wood, I've not had that issue. I'm not sure what I would do if I was suffering that bad, but I literally, for 2 days, I get a little bit of mild nausea. And it's not too bad that I can't cope with it. But obviously be aware that this is potentially an issue when you take Mounjaro. Right, let's talk about sulfur burps. Now, never experienced this. I do know someone that's experienced it, and I've actually smelt it. Yeah, not good. It's proper grim. Now, like I said, never experienced it, but there are a few things you can do to alleviate the symptoms of that, and that is to drink more, maybe try a little bit of exercise after you've eaten, smaller portions, and try and avoid the foods that cause this. And these are mostly sulfur-rich foods, eggs being one of those. So yeah, if you're suffering from that, I think just be a little bit more mindful in what you eat and try and maybe go for a walk after dinner. It's also worth noting that carbonated drinks can also have an effect on that, so it may be worth avoiding your fizzy pop, your fizzy waters and that kind of thing, because they're really not going to help you with this one. And believe me, after having smelt one, you don't want this as a side effect. So for me, side effects, they've all been fairly manageable. We're not talking about vomiting. We're not talking about anything scary. We're not talking about anything that's felt dangerous or where I'd needed medical care and that kind of thing. We're literally talking about a few minor side effects that have been totally and 100% manageable by me on my journey. However many scary stories you read, however many scary stories you see, you hear about, everybody's individual. We're all on a different journey and we're all affected by this medication in a different way. So I think take it a day at a time. If you've got anything you're ever worried about, then you're going to seek medical attention anyway. There are horror stories out there and they are real, but I think they are quite small in numbers. But bad news always travels better than good news, doesn't it? And there's a lot of newspapers sensationalizing a lot of these stories with side effects. And like I say, I don't doubt that they're true. And I don't doubt that there are people in a seriously bad medical condition because of this medication. But statistically, it's all good. Right, let's talk about energy and fatigue. Now, you're probably, when you embark on this journey, you're probably going to be eating a lot less than you were before. I know I certainly was. I dread to think how many calories I was eating previously before I started Mounjaro. So there's going to be times when your energy's going to dip and you're going to feel more fatigued. So you can expect that as a side effect as well. Just make sure you're taking your calories, work out your BMR. A lot of these apps now will work out how many calories you need to take, how many calories you need to eat, and it'll work it out. And you can tell these apps how much weight you want to lose per week, and it'll give you how many calories you should take. And I swear by this method. I know I harp on about this a lot, but it's done me so good for 71 pounds, 5 stone, 1 pound loss over the last 6 months. You are going to feel tired at times. And it's purely because you're not having the same amount of calories you previously had. And you may notice you're not sleeping as well. I certainly wasn't sleeping as well when I first started on this journey, but it does all improve. Once you start getting to the swing of it, you're looking at your balanced meals, you're eating more protein, you're drinking more fluid. It really does improve. Your all-round health is going to be so much better through taking this medication. You've just got to ride these dips, come out the other side of it. You stand on the scales at the end of the week and it will make you realize why you're doing it and why you're going through these hopefully mild side effects. So be prepared for the early fatigue and the energy dips that are going to occur. So next we're going to talk about headspace and how it feels. And it is a side effect. Some might say it's an effect, but I think it's a side effect. It's how you feel about food, how you're going to be less obsessive about food, how your appetite's going to drop off, and you won't constantly be thinking about food. If you're not expecting that, and hopefully you're going to go into this with your eyes wide open, it can really be a shock to the system. And it was probably 10 times better than I thought it was going to be. The food noise, the not obsessing about food, the not constantly being hungry, absolutely amazing. But be prepared that that can hit you like a train if you're not expecting it. Right, this one's fresh in my mind because I've recently come back from holiday and I've recently had a little bit of time working away and staying in a hotel. Now, for me, once I'm out of routine, I really struggle. I'm going to call it a side effect because when you're in that routine, everything's going along swimmingly, but it's how you deal with it when you're out of your routine. Now, if your food choices aren't ideal, you will get an upset stomach. You cannot live how you used to live with this medication and expect to carry on eating all the deep fat fried food, or the unhealthy food, or the really fatty food, and not expect to have issues, shall we call it. So that is part of the learning as well. And like most people on this medication, you'll probably learn the hard way, but that is exactly what will happen. But when you're out of this routine, it's really going to test you, and you need to make sure you're aware that the side effects of this aren't pretty. So when you're out of the routine, try and stay as good as you can, and fingers crossed you'll avoid any major explosive issues, shall we call them. Right, before we go any further, if you can like this video and subscribe to the channel, it'd be amazing. The channel is getting bigger and bigger, and it does blow my mind, but this channel is here for all of us. It's for me to share my journey. It's for me to share what I've learned on my journey, but it's also every time I get a comment, I can learn from that as well. So I like to see it as a community of Mounjaro users, and it's really, really nice when I get feedback, good feedback. Not so keen on the bad feedback, but that is what it is. So if you can like and subscribe and leave a comment down below, that would be absolutely fantastic. If you've got a question for this Saturday's Q&A video, leave it down below, mark it Q&A, and I'll add it onto the list for this Saturday's Q&A video. Right, are you ready for some unexpected side effects? So there are a few of these. There's one I call the eyes bigger than the belly side effect, where when you first start this journey, you will portion your meals the same size as you used to have them, and you won't finish it. So it's not going to happen. You're probably going to eat slower as well. It's surprisingly how quick you get full, and you'll have more leftovers, and you'll end up binning more food. But you'll learn that as you go on. You'll learn your portion sizes, you'll learn how much you can eat, and you'll learn about your protein intake and how important that is for you. But be prepared for a little bit more food wastage when you start. But that's normal. You're getting used to being the new you, and as you get lighter, as you get smaller, your meals are going to get smaller as well. If you're like me, you're a greedy little boy, and your eyes are bigger than your belly. It takes a little bit of getting used to, really. But as you carry on through this journey, as you carry on with the medication, you'll learn and you'll get there. Right, let's give you some practical tips to avoid these dreaded side effects. You could probably call my journey the normal Mounjaro journey. I've watched a lot of videos on YouTube about this subject. I've spoken to a lot of people who have taken this medication. And on the whole, I think everybody's journey is fairly similar and fairly normal to what I'm experiencing now. So I would have no issues whatsoever in encouraging anyone to take this medication, or anyone that needs it. And I have done so in my comments, and I love hearing people when they start the journey and they're worried about it, and then they come back a few weeks later or a month later and they say, this is amazing, I've lost, 14 kilos in 6 weeks or whatever. And if I didn't believe what I was saying, I really wouldn't say it, because at the end of the day, this channel's Mounjaro, and I'm not going to put my name to anything I don't believe in. So yeah, I did mention I was going to talk about practical tips, and I went off on a tangent then, didn't I? Eat slower. Take your time, eat your meals. You don't need to be rushing it down. Enjoy those calories while you're getting them. and just chill out and eat slow, enjoy your food, and make a massive difference to any side effects you possibly may encounter as well. Don't force food when you're not hungry. Now, what I tend to do, and I've said it probably 100 times on this channel, is I'm going to hit my calories no matter what, because I want to do this the healthy way. So if I'm short on calories and I'm not hungry, I'm having a meal replacement shake, and it's as simple as that. But if you're struggling with nausea, you're struggling with sickness, you're struggling with diarrhea or constipation, I wouldn't force your calories. I've only done the meal replacement shakes because I felt comfortable in the knowledge that I want to hit my calories. I'll always try and have a smaller meal on injection day, but that's mostly because of the nausea. I'll have something like a baked potato. What did I have for breakfast that day of my injection? I literally had some ham and some eggs for breakfast, but it's just how I deal with it, and it makes life more comfortable for me. So I tend to eat lighter on an injection day. Walking is fantastic for digestion and for giving you energy. So if you can manage a walk after dinner, it's going to really alleviate any of these potential symptoms that you're likely to come across. So yeah, have your dinner, go for a wander. Fantastic. Get your steps in as well. Can only be good news, can't it? So the last one would be listen to your body. Now, my body's different than your body, and we're all different, and we're all on different journeys. If you listen to your body, I'll listen to my body. And who knows you better than you? So listen to how your body's feeling. If you're struggling with sickness, you're struggling with constipation, you're struggling with diarrhea, you know what you've got to do. So listen to what your body's saying and react accordingly. So what would my final takeaway on this video be to you all if you're about to start a Mounjaro journey, or you're partway through a Mounjaro journey, or you might be a week or a month in and you're concerned, but I would imagine it'd be more people that are thinking about taking the journey and would be searching for videos on YouTube to find out what these potential side effects can be. Now, they've been mild and they've been manageable. I'm never going to be anything more than 100% honest in this channel. And 100% the benefits outweigh the negatives for me. I wouldn't have lost 5 stone and carried on taking this medication if there'd been one single issue that would have made me stop. Now, I don't think I've been lucky. I think I've been on a normal Mounjaro journey, and I've still got a little way to go. I think I've got another 23 pounds to lose before I reach the goal that I've set. And I'd just like to point out, it's not the goal that's been set for my height and build, it's the goal that I've set. Basically because I think I'd look ridiculous if I reached the goal that's recommended for my height. And I don't want to look like a beanpole. So yeah, without a doubt, I'd recommend it. The benefits completely outweigh any negatives from side effects I've experienced. So if you're considering taking this medication, I would speak to your medical professional, get the full picture of your health, because you may have underlying health issues that can affect this, but I would say go for it. All I wanted to do is give you my perspective on what I've experienced on my journey, and fingers crossed you experience a positive version of this journey too. Like I say, if you can leave any comments down below, like and subscribe to the video, and I'll see you all on Saturday for next week's weekly update and Q&A session. Thanks for watching now.